party that actually has that in their program.
Yeah, I did a book called Left Right, Marching to the Beat of Imperial Canada, which is part of history of the NDP foreign policy. And that's what you say is exactly correct, where the NDP or the CCF supported establishment in NATO, supported the Korean War. But for about 2 decades almost, the most important debate at every convention was over resolutions around Canada out of NATO, Canada out of Norway. And eventually, finally, I think in 1969, they win the anti-war, the pro-peace kind of movement, wins the Canada out of NATO position within the NDP. And that position's on the books of its official position of NDP for basically 2 decades. And then Broadbent, when he looks like there's a chance he's going to actually win, it was never a conventional resolution. My understanding, it was never a conventional resolution that actually discussed it out and said, we changed the position. Broadbent was able to just sort of throw it into the garbage and move it aside. And so the NDP's position today is not Canada and NATO or Canada and Norway, but it was the position, and it was a really intense political battle for a long time to get to that point. And I don't right now. I mean, the NDP's election platform, the recent election had they support the naval vessel procurement and they support the fighter jets. Randall Garrison, who we're not far around here, that he just got demoted. He was the defense critic for the last 6 years of the NDP. He got removed from the defense critic and now is the deputy defense critic. Probably, I'd like to believe, because there was a public letter in the summer, but we've been criticizing Randall Garrison for a long time on this stuff, but there was a public letter signed by 24 groups and about 1,300 people emailed to Jagmeet Singh, calling for Garrison to be removed as the defense critic for his anti-Palestinian and his pro-militarist positions. So we think that contributed, we hope that's what contributed to him no longer being the defense critic. So I think there's a little bit of an opening there with a new defense critic from the NDP. But yeah, the NDP is pretty much tied to a pro-militarist position. The Greens, it's complicated. I would say maybe slightly better. Obviously, Paul Manley was he was one MP that did come out against the fighter jet. He's come out in a couple of different forms opposing the fighter jet. Officially, the NDP opposes the purchasing the F-35, right? So in this campaign against the fighter jet, it would be very helpful for the campaign, which is saying no purchase fighter. We're not saying we don't want this jet or we want that jet or whatever. We just want to be spending social resources on it. But it would be helpful for the campaign. The NDP at least comes out and says, we oppose the F-35, because that would just kind of add to the discussion and politicize the issue. They're probably going to buy the F-35. That's probably the plan. But Garrison has even though officially that is the NDP's position, Garrison has just stayed quiet on that because he is so kind of aligned with the military. So hopefully that will change a little bit with the new defense critic, but that's just that's just something recent. But the broad picture is the NDP has come to to their pro-peace positions or their anti-militarist positions are not because it's like, oh, this is the right thing to do. It's because there is anti-war activism taking place, both outside and within the party, and that pushes them into position, right? So it's obviously it's not easy. It's easier if you have a political party that's echoing some of what we're saying. It always makes it more difficult, but that's the reality of the situation. We need to create that buzz, and create that movement, create that discussion, and then the politicians will generally tend to follow.